In this week's CS2 news, a brand new Tier 2 CS2 circuit has been announced for 2026 and it could completely reshape the path to the top. The CS2 transfer market is being described as out of control with buyouts, short contracts and instability everywhere. And Valve have officially changed the CS2 map pool, removing Train and bringing Anubis back to the rotation. All of that right here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SkinsLuck channel. My name is Zep or Zepcast and it's really awesome to be here making you another news video for this week. There hasn't been a crazy amount of stories this week, but the ones that are there are ones that we got to pay a lot of attention to. As you can tell from the intro, you're not going to want to miss these ones. So folks, if you want to check out more as well in this information, please do make sure to also go check out all of the links that we are using to check out this content, right? You'll see what the titles are. Make sure to go look them up if you want to get the full in-depth article as well. We wouldn't be able to make content like this without checking out these articles. So let's give these articles their due by making sure to go and take a look at them. And if you're enjoying these news videos as well, please do make sure to subscribe. Let us know you're enjoying. Make sure to leave a comment if you want to see more videos like this in future and letting us know which is your favorite, and leave a like if you enjoy. Also do share with your friends. Now let's get into the first story of the day. So folks, here we go. Story one, with the Star Ladder and Stake launching a Tier 2 CS2 circuit for 2026. We are starting with a big announcement for the top level of Counter-Strike. According to Respawn by Outlook India, Star Ladder has partnered with Stake to launch a Tier 2 CS2 circuit for 2026. The goal of this new circuit is to create a consistent, structured ecosystem for teams that sit just below Tier 1, something the CS scene has struggled with for years. And honestly, this is something that I think is very much needed across esports, because I know as well, coming from a Call of Duty background, we have the CDL, which is the top level, and then below that Challengers. And Challengers this year specifically has been very interesting, but on the overall, it's sort of something that at times it can feel like it's been left to hang out to dry a little bit in terms of the protection that and this infrastructure and systems that scene needs in comparison to the very top echelon. The second tier echelon needs a lot of protection as well. And of course, in a perfect world, we have proper ecosystems throughout every level, but it can only happen to so many levels. But what I will say is that definitely that secondary level can be a little bit overlooked, right? You have people that go into the esports industry beginning trying to develop grassroots, and they'll maybe focus on trying to develop that in their own way and style across esports. And then you have people wanting to develop the top end. And sometimes those teams that are kind of left in the middle can sometimes be in a bit of a barren wasteland where you don't know who's supposed to be covering them. Is the top tier system supposed to have that trickle down effect to the tier 2, or should the grassroots systems be working up to then provide opportunities for those ones just under that tier 1? It can be a bit of a mess. The article explains that the circuit will include multiple events across the year with clear qualification paths and guaranteed competition rather than one-off tournaments. And I mean, this is massive, it has to be said. Tier 2 Counter-Strike is where careers either develop or die. Same with a lot of other esports, and for a long time it's been unstable. Teams grinding qualifiers with no safety net. If Star Ladder delivers what is being promised here, this could become a genuine bridge between online grinders and major level competition. And it's all about creating those pathways and bridges within esports. It's super important. And it also means that organizations might actually feel confident investing in tier 2 rosters again, knowing there's a real calendar and exposure attached. And that's the key point as well, investment. And investment will only come from infrastructure. There needs to be the infrastructure there to be worth the investment, and with that investment will come the ability to create more infrastructure. You just got to be able to get that ball rolling. Now on to the second story here about the CS2 transfer market being out of control. And this one, potentially you could argue is a little worrying. Insider Gaming reports that the CS2 transfer market is currently out of control, with sources describing widespread instability across rosters. According to the article, several issues are happening at once. Inflated buyouts, very short player contracts, and teams making panic moves after just 1 or 2 poor results. Agents and insiders reportedly say that teams are recycling the same pool of players instead of developing talent, creating constant roster churn. This is exactly what happens when results are prioritized over structure. Teams want instant success in CS2, but the game's still evolving, and that leads to overreactions. And I remember we spoke about this on the news article that we talked about with 100 Thieves when they were announcing their systems they've put in place with the return to CS2. It is super important when you are beginning to a team to be aware that you're trying to create long-term infrastructures as opposed to short-term success, because even going for that mad, crazy short-term success, you're probably going to be trying to do that by getting players that are so high level or so overinflated on their contracts that it's never going to pay out for you long term. Setting up that infrastructure so that you can have constant rotational systems with minimal cost put in and lost, and it might cost you more in the short term but gain you more in the long term, that's way more important. And I have always said a good team that has been playing together for a long time will always do better than a great team of pickups. You need to give rosters time, and you also need to give the infrastructures time as well. And you can't be worried just about trying to cut people loose straight away. You got to give them a couple of tournaments, a couple of majors, see how things go, not just a couple of games. And Call of Duty as well, again, relating back to what I see a lot of, you see that all the time. Someone has a flu or a cold, so they play bad for one weekend of scrimming and they're gone, and that's just not the way it should be. And look, it hurts tier 2 and tier 3 players the most. It hurts the amateur scenes. Instead of long-term projects, we're seeing short-term gambles that collapse quickly. If this continues, it could actually slow down the overall competitive growth of CS2, because stability is what creates elite teams, not constant swaps. And that is just something that's really important to note. Like, if anyone takes anything from this, is that stability really is key. You cannot rely on the transfer systems for everything, and that is transcendent, I feel like, across all sports. And the final story here, Valve changes the CS2 map pool, with Train being removed and Anubis added. So finally a change that affects everyone who plays CS2, at least when it comes to the competitive side of things and Premier. According to eGamers World, Valve has officially updated the CS2 competitive map pool, removing Train and reintroducing Anubis. Train's removal comes after limited play time and ongoing balance concerns, while Anubis returns following updates aimed at improving pacing and rotations. I personally really like Anubis, so for me at least, this feels like great news. This change immediately impacts professional teams preparing for upcoming events, but it also filters down to Premier and ranked play. From a competitive standpoint, this feels like it makes sense. Train has always been a difficult map to balance in modern Counter-Strike, while Anubis fits CS2 utility-heavy, mid-control focused meta far better. And yeah, there is something about Train where, like, I have enjoyed Train. You've seen me probably on this channel make quite a few videos playing Train, and I enjoy it, but it does feel like it's lacking something, to where it just feels like it is maybe an older map from an older generation, whereas Anubis just feels like it works on so many more levels. If you're a player grinding Premier, now's the time to learn Anubis properly. Pro teams shape the meta early and everyone else follows. So expect map veto strategies to change quickly over the next few events. And I believe that this is going to be filtering in around, if I'm not mistaken, I think Premier Season 4. So do keep an eye out for that. And there you have it, folks. That is all your news for this week. I've been Zep. I hope you've enjoyed watching the content here in the SkinsLuck channel and that you've enjoyed the news. Again, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite piece of news was. If you enjoy content like this, the news content, make sure to subscribe to see it every Friday. And if you want to see other gameplay related content, do make sure to subscribe for that as well, along with live streams over on Twitch and Kick that we do once a week on Thursday. So please do make sure to follow so that you're notified for all of those things, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, I've been Zep. Peace.